like you said, such a big squad. There's a lot of people, a lot of high-profile players. You learn a lot, but on the other side, you do need to play as a youngster. So at the Griquas, I could get more game time.
A lot of younger guys don't necessarily get the opportunities that everyone gets.
Well, I think if you have that desire, you would work hard already. But there's also a lot of systems in place for you to still showcase your talent. I mean, if you can go study, I think the Varsity Cup is a nice tournament for you to be seen. Varsity Shield as well, if there's players who came from the Varsity Shield. And then club rugby is also getting quite big now. So I think there's a lot of systems in place for you to showcase your talent. Yeah, not everyone's journey is the same. You have to go through certain stuff to where you want to be.
Hello, Marco. Nice to have you on the episode today. If you can maybe just kind of introduce yourself and kind of just give us a bit of an overview and a highlight of where you are currently in your journey.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, my name is Marco de Witt. Currently I'm at the Griquas. I'm 22 years old, and prior to the Griquas, I was at the Sharks for just over a year, and I was a junior at the Bulls.
Okay, cool. And if you could just give us a bit of where did your love for rugby begin? And I mean, who was your early role models and inspiration to become a professional rugby player?
I think any young boy in South Africa plays rugby from a young age. So since I was little, primary school, I've played rugby. My dad also enjoyed playing rugby. He wasn't a professional player, but obviously growing up, he used to kick ball with us. I have an older brother as well, who also played a bit of rugby at school. So I kind of grown up into the whole rugby system. I went to Boland Landbou, and there obviously also a rugby culture. And it went on from there.
Was there any specific moment that made you decide that you want to become a professional rugby player?
Not really. I think you just enjoy the game, and then if you can do it for a living when you're younger, I think it's quite cool. Now that you're older, you see what actually comes with it. Not that I won't choose it now as well, but you see what comes with it. So it's not always just sunshine and roses. You do have your downs as well, and not just always your ups. But yes, I'm enjoying it still.
And then obviously breaking into the professional rugby environment is obviously a very daunting task, and it does take a lot. I mean, what was your building blocks? Did you have any struggles? Can you give us a bit of an overview of how you kind of made that jump into professional rugby? Where did you get the opportunity? Was it an easy road? Was it a fight for you to get to that place? Or you can just give us a bit of an overview.
Yeah, so at school, I played Grand Como under 16, and then in grade 11, I played Craven Week, but in matric we didn't have rugby because I was in COVID. During COVID, I did matric, so we didn't play any rugby, which made it quite difficult because as a schoolboy, you're looking forward to your matric year. You want to play, you want to make the most out of it, and then unfortunately we didn't have that. But fortunate enough for me, I got an opportunity at the Bulls as a junior, so I went there after school. So we got there in Jan, and then they told us, but a lot of guys tested positive for COVID. We can go back. Our tournament had to begin in the beginning of the year, and then it only started at the end of the year, I believe in August. So that was quite a long pre-season as well, and then training with masks, and when you get off the field you have to sit there with a mask. That was quite an experience. Obviously you think, okay, no, it's going to be professional, it's always nice, you have these team buildings, but then you can't always do it because of COVID. But as COVID got less, you see the whole setup. It's not always that easy, but it is enjoyable. I think you have to make it nice for yourself. If you go out with the guys and you try to enjoy it, I think you make it better for yourself. You can't just always not want to go out with the guys. Obviously, being a professional and doing it as a job, you also have certain responsibilities. You have to watch your clips. You have to watch the other team's clips. Do your analyze work. Do your extras. Because it's your job. It's not just, it's not for fun. Actually, a job, you can make a career out of it.
Yeah. And I mean, just talking about obviously the Griquas where you're currently playing. I mean, how did you end up there? And I mean, how's the team culture been for you guys? I know the Griquas are always a tough team to go and play in Kimberley. So how is your guys, your establishment going? And I mean, what's the team culture currently like?
Like I said, I was at the Sharks previously. So coming from Durban, Mhlanga, Belito, it's It's much different to Kimberley. I mean, you have the beach there. It's always nice and hot. On a Wednesday we have off. You go to the beach. You're really enjoying your time. You go to a cafe with your friends, really making the most out of that lifestyle. And then coming to Kimberley, totally different. Much more Afrikaans, where Durban is more English. You don't have your cafes. You don't have the beach. I came here in Feb, really hot, and then June, July, really cold. So you get the extreme hot and then the extreme cold, which is really something you have to work with. But then the team culture, really enjoy it. I think because we're such a small union, you really only have the guys. Everything in Kimberley is quite close to each other as well. The furthest thing is like 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
So our culture is, I think we know that we only have each other and we should make the best out of it. I've really enjoyed it as well. Came here, we played the SA Cup and we went unbeaten in the SA Cup. And obviously that gives you a lot of confidence and it really makes you enjoy your time because you are winning the whole time. But now in the Curry Cup, we've played a few games where it didn't always go our way, and that's not always the best. But having the guys next to you and having a great coaching staff, it really helps you a lot. I really think it's a good place to develop skills and where you can grow as well.
And I mean, just talking, you obviously was at the Sharks, and I mean, it's hard to kind of be at a bigger union and then either get cut or get released. Or I mean, we all experience setbacks in our careers. I mean, it's not like you have a great path in your whole career. So, I mean, it's obviously setback for you to go to a smaller union, if you want to name it that. So, I mean, just tell us about your kind of resilience and what you've learned from obviously moving away from the Sharks to the Griquas. At least you guys, or you had an opportunity to go and play professional rugby still. So, I mean, what happened? What was the decision to obviously move to the Griquas? And I mean, what's the kind of main things that you can see is different from being in the Sharks environment compared to the Griquas?
Yeah, so I was still under 21 when I went to the Sharks. So I played a bit of Curry Cup, and then after that, I played an under 21 tournament. I played one game URC, but like you said, such a big squad. There's a lot of people, a lot of high-profile players, and it's really nice working with them. You learn a lot, you enjoy it as well. But on the other side, you do need to play as a youngster, and that wasn't really the case. So at the Griquas, I could get more game time. And to be honest with you, it's not always nice hearing you have to go to the smaller union, like you said. You want to be in the setup with those guys and that union with bigger unions, URC franchises. And that's what I learned. Sometimes you have to, not necessarily go a step back to go forward, but not everyone's journey is the same. I mean, we all know people who just make it from the get-go. And I think something I realized was, not everyone's journey is the same. You have to go through certain stuff to where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important, like you just mentioned. I think that's something a lot of guys don't always experience, the smooth road that gets them to playing URC or the Springboks or something like that. So, I mean, it does teach you a bit of resilience to obviously get through that journey. So, I mean, as much as rugby is obviously a physical game, there's obviously a lot of mental challenges that you obviously experience, and especially like a big move from the Sharks to the Kimberley. So, I mean, what have you done to kind of cope mentally and prepare your mindset to be stronger, to obviously try and compete at the highest level every weekend? And then obviously, like, what's your vision for yourself over the next couple of seasons? You obviously are still very young, so there's still a lot of time for you, but what is your kind of goals that you've set for yourself over the next couple of seasons?
Yeah, so to get back to the mental side of it, that's what I said when you're a young boy and you hear that you can play rugby as a professional and as your job. It's quite nice, but you don't always think about not getting picked. You don't think about an injury and you can't play, or you are fit, but then, like I said, you don't get picked, or you don't see your family, you don't necessarily attend funerals or birthdays. So that really does get to you sometimes. But that's probably the beautiful thing of it, because on the other side, when you get to play and you get to see the world, that's also nice. Our future plans at the moment, we still have a game against Province this weekend. So I'm just trying to focus on that. If anything, any other opportunity presents itself, I would talk to my family and the people around me to make a decision about that. But I'm still here at the Griquas until next year, September. And at the moment, I would just like to become a better athlete on and off the field, just grow. I think, any young boy, like I said, would want to be in South Africa. If you see how the Boks they're doing now, I mean, it's the best team in the world. You can't deny that. Back-to-back champions, and everyone would love to represent it. If the opportunity overseas comes, we'll have to make a decision about that. But at the moment, I would like to stay here and just grow as a player.
I mean, obviously you were in school and you've gone through the junior structures. I mean, is there anything that you've experienced during those times that you think could be done differently, especially like young guys listening to this or looking at the video clips? A lot of younger guys don't necessarily get the opportunities that everyone gets because South Africa is such a big country and it's obviously hard to always break through and always see the talent at specific times of the season. You might get an injury, you might not get seen by a coach, or you maybe only develop a bit better later on in your career. So, I mean, what advice would you give for younger kids that maybe might not have made the Craven Week side or might not have played in the academy side, but they're all kind of passionate, they want to play rugby professionally and they've got that desire to try and make it in a team?
Well, I think if you have that desire, you would work hard already. I think that's a given. You have to work hard, but there's also a lot of systems in place for you to still showcase your talent. I mean, if you can go study, I think the Varsity Cup is also is a nice tournament for you to be seen. Varsity Shield as well, if there's players who came from the Varsity Shield. And then club rugby is also getting quite big now. So I think there's a lot of systems in place for you to showcase your talent and where you can just enjoy the love of the game.
Yeah. And I mean, any improvements that you think can happen in that type of areas in South Africa at the moment?
Not really off the top of my head now. I think they are giving people chance who doesn't always get the chance. So I think South Africa is doing well where they can give people a chance who's not always in the position to get one. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, a bit outside of rugby, kind of your personal life. I mean, can you give us a bit of an insight into do you have any daily routines that you follow or anything that you do on a consistent basis?
Not really. I try to not always think about the rugby. I've learned when I was younger, like I need to decompress a bit more. My first year I was quite hectic about not doing certain things and not going out or not doing this or not doing that, where I think you have to realize that there's a time where you work and then there's a time where you can enjoy your life and your time. So just going out with friends, maybe. I know paddle is getting quite big. Some of the guys play paddle, or just keeping your mind off it, maybe studying on the side or anything like that. So at the moment I'm trying to do this one course, but it's taking some time now as we're playing Currie Cup.
And then obviously, do you have any kind of business passions or something that you've started on the side while you're still playing rugby? It's obviously you're obviously young, so that makes it a bit of a different story for you. But as you obviously get older, then things do change. I mean, do you have any passions in business sector or any ideas that you might want to come up with in the next couple of years?
Yes, I'm kind of just focusing on rugby at the moment. I know there is life after rugby, which is also an important thing to consider. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying my time and trying to find out what I like and what I don't like and what I would go into after rugby and maybe even during rugby as well.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of your growth as a player, is there anything that you want to start working on or you want to improve over the coming seasons to make you a better player?
Yeah, I think any player can work on a lot of stuff. I like to be more clinical, like do the small things right. It's always nice to have a big moment, but there's a lot of off-the-ball stuff that you can work on as well to get into the right positions, run the right lines, even though you're not getting the ball. So a lot of maybe off the ball.
And yeah, just from a rugby point of view, I mean, who's been your toughest opponent that you can think of quickly?
Toughest opponent at school, inter-schools was against Oakdale. Always a big rivalry. I know you have your Paul schools as well, so those schools were quite difficult. And then I think any URC franchise is quite difficult. And then a big game for us is obviously the Pumas as well. We enjoy playing them. And then our next door neighbours, the Cheetahs. So actually any team in South Africa, basically. But the URC franchises are doing quite well at the moment. So, yeah.
Any specific meal you like to have before a game or something you tend to eat more than regular?
No, I'm not quite picky on what I eat before a game and what I don't eat before a game. I don't always want to start a superstition because then it feels like you have to keep up with it and then sometimes it just grows. So at the moment, nothing.
Okay. Any hidden talents that no one knows about? Singing, dancing, something like that?
Definitely not singing. No, I can't sing. I used to do athletics at school. I was a amateur athlete. I won essays at school level. So I think athletics is probably one that not everyone knows about. Yeah, just check them out there.
Cool. Well, thanks, Michael. It's been nice chatting with you today. And yeah, thank you for joining us. And we're looking forward to keep an eye on you with your rugby journey and where life takes you. And hopefully we'll see you back in a URC team at some point. You've had a really good season up until now. So congratulations on that and good luck for the weekend's game. And yeah, hopefully we'll chat to you again on here as well.
Awesome, Ronaldo. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's really a privilege for me. And yeah, good luck with your journey as well with Octafield.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.